Welcome to La Mordida 956. It's not about tacos. I'm your host, tu locutor, Lupe Chavez Jr. I did record one of these earlier outside. I was grilling, but the microphone's very sensitive, so it did mess with the audio. So this is my second attempt. I may share the blooper with you. But again, welcome to the first episode, the introductory episode to La Mordida 956. This is a temporary studio. As you can see behind me, we have a neon cactus and the movie poster to Gone with the Wind. So I know that is somewhat controversial of a movie, but very appropriate for today's subject. So I'm going to run down 15 minutes. It's going to be a 15-minute podcast format just because I used to work at Spectrum call center in McAllen, and my friends that still work there, or people that work there that hopefully down the line we get them unionized as a call center. A lot of call centers come to the Valley for the cheap labor. So, you know, this is going to be a 15-minute format so that people, whether you work at Spectrum or wherever you work, when you get a 15-minute break in the morning and the afternoon, or the first half of your shift and the second half of the shift, this podcast about corruption in Hidalgo County, corruption in 956, you have time to watch it. I will be going first to a pre-recorded format and then to a live audience. Now, I encourage everyone to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If I should reach a level of monetization, all these funds will go towards charity. I am in the process waiting for a response from the state of Texas, as I have sent out documents for a unincorporated organization with the goal of going to a 501c3 as a grassroots organization in Las Milpas. Please hit the subscribe, hit the like, share it, because this is an important election. And so first I'm going to go ahead and just introduce myself. My name is Lupe Chavez. I am a resident of Las Milpas. I've lived on and off in Las Milpas since 1980. My family moved from LaPorte, Indiana. My father was born in Hidalgo, my mother here in Weslaco. So if you ever visit the northern Indiana area around South Bend, LaPorte, Michigan City, odds are if you meet someone of Mexican American ancestry, or Hispanic, or whatever term you're comfortable with, more than likely you're speaking to my cousin or a family member. My family retired to Pharr, the Las Milpas area, and I graduated from PSG North in 1995. I was part of the group that started the first high school. So essentially in the 90s or late 80s, I forget when it occurred, but cities like McAllen, Brownsville grew to such a tremendous size that they had to split schools. So McAllen had McAllen and McAllen Memorial, and PSG, when I was a freshman, we were the last class of a Pharr San Juan Alamo community. So after my freshman year, or our freshman year, we transitioned to the what was the upper level 11-12 campus for PSG Bears to PSG North Raiders. And I am part of a class of students or a generation that if you don't know who I am, welcome. But I am considered, if you wanted answers, you'd come to me looking for leadership. And my peers, colleagues, or my classmates, there's a group of us that, obviously, I trust them, I trust their leadership, and went to them for answers. But and for most part, you're copying my homework. I attended the University of Southern California for 3 years. That's when I had my first arrest for spray painting Tommy Trojan in protest to some discrimination and issues I saw there, which may or may not be a future podcast. But as a Raider, PSG North Raider graduate, a theater student, I didn't play sports. I gave up sports, but I also was athletic. But I did have the pleasure of playing at USC intramural against football players, baseball players, basketball players, and the women's team. So, I am from, I can run the court but not anymore. I was injured in my last arrest by McAllen PD. A McAllen jailer stomped on my foot and performed some sort of move in an attempt to hurt my legs, quote unquote resisting. But I am working to get those videos. So the first topic today is the generational wealth of the Carrillo family, and namely Pharr Commissioner Roberto Bobby Carrillo, who, if you watch meetings, is at the dais, or that's what that area where the commissioners sit. Every meeting, he sits in front of the American flag with his baseball cap on, which I find tremendously disrespectful, considering my father, my brother, family members are veterans of foreign wars. And luckily, a lot of my family members survived World War II, survived Vietnam, the war on terrorism, so it is tremendously disrespectful. So my information for you today regarding the Carrillo family is they have a corporation, or an LLC, in which, they are shareholders. So as Bobby Carrillo became more and more involved in politics, he gave up his shares in this family so that he's no longer involved in this. And I talk about generational wealth because I have seen the documents online with the Hidalgo County Clerk, and you can research this yourself. I've seen a bunch of documents. The Palacios family, Leopoldo Polo Palacios, signing documents for citizenship. So back in the day, if you didn't have your birth certificate, or you're born at home, a lot of different things in the early 1900s, mid 1900s, you had to establish citizenship. So what some of these forms I've seen the Palacios sign is stating that I know so and so, they lived at this address for so and so, to help with citizenship and papers. Nothing that I could see that's out of the ordinary, but that is something that you can view doing name searches. So going back to the Carrillos, I did see where property, homes passed from one to another. So that brings me back to Robert Carrillo, or Bobby Carrillo, is that why, or what reasons would the family have to? Why would he give up his shares in this generational wealth? Well, one, if you're a shareholder and somebody's not on the up and up, and you don't want to be liable for any kind of criminal activity or seizure, asset forfeitures, so then in those cases, you would want someone not to have stock or shares in a family business. So that's one reason. Secondly, no trust. So like if you had no trust in a brother or sister that you have shares with, that of a company that your family established, and you didn't want them to have those votes, you would force them out, right? And so the only reasons I can think of why somebody would get out or sell their shares in a generational wealth situation would be choice, right? I don't want to be a part of you, but that doesn't make sense to me. Like, why would I give up money for me, and then which I can pass those shares along to my children? So that didn't make sense to me. Two, needing money, selling shares to need money. I don't see that either. What I do see, and this is my opinion, and based on information I've received from sources, and additionally, I speak from experience. Bobby Carrillo signed false affidavits with the Pharr PD to have me arrested. If you're unaware, you can watch some of these videos. For a whole year after I was aware of the illegal activity occurring in Las Milpas, I was stopped by a police officer, and he pretended to smell marijuana in my car when I was a designated driver. I'm a divorced dad. I'm a non-custodial parent, and I'm a responsible person. So I was out with my friends, and actually I had just finished my state exam for my history certification. I'm a certified teacher with a dormant certification. I'm certified with 8 through 12 English language arts. That's my main focus. I also have a bilingual certification because that's required. So I did take my pedagogy test for Spanish, and being the person that I am, I said, well, make myself more useful. I was a coach, and I said, well, if I ever, I wanted to be a head football coach. So I thought, well, if they don't have space for me in the English as a high schooler, history. So I challenged the history exam, and that day I took my test. I celebrated with my friends, but again, algo leve. Took it easy. I was a designated driver, and that's how it started. That's how my activism started. I become aware of the ELO activity, and as you know, the Panama unit, headed by former Sheriff Lupe Trevino's son, they would operate in these areas. So Bobby Carrillo has committed crimes with the city of Pharr police department, people that are still in office as well. The city manager, police chief Andy Harvey is aware of this, and the Pharr San Juan Alamo Independent School District is also aware, because I was a candidate for school board in 2010 when the same thing happened again, when I challenged Ronnie Cantu, Eddie Cantu, County Commissioner, Precinct 2 Commissioner's brother. So it is a crime. They are criminals. And so Oscar Elizondo, former Commissioner Oscar Elizondo, got arrested and charged with federal crime. So, what's the best way to protect generational wealth is not to be associated with it when the hammer comes down. So I've already gone through that segment, the generational wealth. Why would Robert Carrillo give up shares in his family business? Now, lastly, going back to this poster, Gone with the Wind, this film, which they consider one of the best all times, is about the South. And frankly, I don't give a damn about Southern values. I don't give a damn about the Confederate flag. We are all Americans. But after the Civil War, the KKK, so we didn't really end slavery. We didn't win this war. We let these values continue. And what happened? Well, this historic reversal of Roe versus Wade happened, and the infringement upon our civil liberties. And I want women, and I want young ladies, young girls watching this, is that this is your space as well. We support you. I support you. And I am working as a community organizer to make sure that we don't let this travesty, this reversal of precedents. Okay, this is a historical failure by the Supreme Court of the United States of America, a historical failure by Congress not to codify, not to protect women's reproductive rights, or women's rights in general. And I know a lot of people watch the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, and it was a source of a lot of entertainment and humor. But at the heart of that was this issue that, we know that Amber Heard was lying about a lot of stuff, but we know that in a majority of cases, rape, incest, all those horrible things that happen sexually, and discrimination in the workplace, the glass ceiling, we all know that we can stop that. And Congress has failed us. The Supreme Court of the United States have failed us. And so a lot of women don't report these crimes and abuse, domestic violence. And now we're going to force women to carry a pregnancy to term, or carry a pregnancy to not only zygote or fetuses, or not even a fully formed fetus. And again, I can look up all these things. I'm a parent. It's just that's not the important thing here. The science behind it, but we're forcing women to choose between not only the life and health of their baby, but their own personal health, their own personal safety. And we're going to see the outcome. We see that some states are fighting and pushing back, but it's going to take all of us in November. So please, we have until October 11th, after the holiday of Columbus. So register to vote. Register a young person. Get all your paperwork in order, because we know that suppression is going to happen. And I've seen it here when I vote locally. The white people that have become election officials, election judges, some of them violate the law, and I have to tell them, hey, I have the proper documentation, and I know I can sign an affidavit if you don't believe who I am. So it is important that you have your driver's license, that you have your voter card, because they will require it. They're going to enforce all these efforts to suppress our rights to vote. So continue. This was La Mordida 956.